thank you very much. Thank God I wasn't the one conscripted to skydive. I wanted to start the evening by referencing a movie that I've seen about 800 times now. Does anyone out here have a child under 7 years old? Good. So, well, then you no doubt have seen the movie Ice Age 800 times. And for the rest of you, let me try to describe my favorite scene in that movie. The stars of the movie are, it's the Ice Age, of course. The stars of the movie are looking for food, and they come upon a pack of dodo birds who are hoarding melons. And does anybody remember that scene? And when they ask the dodos for something to eat, the dodos respond, "Well, if you weren't smart enough to plan ahead, then doom on you." And then, of course, they all start marching backward together, the dodo birds, and they're chanting, "Doom on you, doom on you." Well, they managed to backward shuffle right off a cliff. And the reason that I'm telling you this story is because it's the establishment that during these tough economic times essentially says, doom on you. But it's our entrepreneurs, our innovators that are watching the dodo birds walk off the cliff. The Ice Age may be here, but it's our business innovators who are just warming up. Now, necessity is the mother of invention, at least that's what Plato said, and it's impossible to argue with that. Everything we witness in the world confirms that. And with all props to Plato, I'll take a shot at a modern revision of his famous quote and say, some of the world's best companies were founded in a recession. And a few worth mentioning, some of you may have heard of. General Electric, founded by Thomas Edison in the 1890s during a worldwide recession, a collapse in the US economy, and a run on gold. Microsoft was founded in 1975 in the middle of the OPEC oil crisis and great political and economic uncertainty. MTV was created in the stagflation recession of the early 1980s. Let's not forget Groupon, which launched in November of 2008 in the midst of the meltdown into the Great Recession. Well, the entrepreneurs who built these great companies spent their time listening not to the macroeconomic trends or to the headlines in the newspaper foretelling doom on you, but instead they set their laser-like focus on the products and services that they could provide and on the customers and markets that they could serve. So what do the customers want, they asked, and how do I deliver it efficiently and better than anybody else? And how do I do it nimbly and adeptly to take advantage of the problems that old-line existing businesses are having during this recession? I'm told that this year there were a record number of nominations for these innovation awards, and I'm not at all surprised. This room is truly filled with the promise of the future of Chicago. This is really our time. It is our turn to propel Chicago's economy forward by nurturing an ecosystem in which innovation and entrepreneurship can thrive. Challenge and versatility are words with which Chicagoans are well acquainted, but the words giving up are most certainly not in our vocabulary. We have a history of innovation and a spirit of resilience in this city. 100 years ago, we faced in this city a fire that devastated absolutely everything in its path. But Chicagoans got themselves up off the ground, brushed themselves off, and rebuilt the city better than before. And frankly, it has thrived ever since. Innovation and entrepreneurship are the cornerstones of economic development and growth. They're nothing new to Chicago. In fact, they're synonymous with the spirit of our city and our history. Our historic and beautiful city is built upon these virtues. And we stand here today because of the successes of the innovators of the past. Chicago actually led the nation in innovation in the 19th century. We established the Chicago Board of Trade. We're the first American city to build a comprehensive sewer system. We became one of the best bridge builders, bridge innovators in the world, built the first skyscraper in the world, and became and remain today the premier rail hub in America. We were the heart of the meatpacking industry, and believe it or not, we even invented department store shopping, or retailing if you prefer, including pioneer Marshall Fields and catalog giants Montgomery Ward and Sears Roebuck and Company. And who can forget that we even managed to control the flow of a river and reverse its natural course. Beyond our homegrown innovators and, of course, our entrepreneurs, many businesses came to Chicago to house their firms and companies, hoping to thrive in the atmosphere of innovation. And Chicago was the place to be in the 19th century. But we didn't stop there. In 1928, and many of you know this story, Paul Galvin started a small business producing battery eliminators for battery-operated home radios. But when the market demand declined, Galvin started looking to new options, as innovators often do, and became one of the first producers of car radios. Of course, Motorola, which since its inception has led the technology industry in the development of walkie-talkies, cellular telephones, two-way radios, pagers, and microchips. One of our most innovative industries in the early to mid-20th century is, and this may surprise some of you, the medical and healthcare field. Baxter Laboratories and their innovative products, such as the artificial kidney and the first heart-lung oxygenator needed for open-heart surgeries, to Abbott Labs and their modern medications. Chicago companies are still leading providers of the medical community today. In fact, the largest medical device companies in the world are housed right here. So who's next? Which innovative companies will lead us into the new era of prosperity? Which ones will it be? So far, the 21st century, of course, has brought us startups like Groupon, Tickets Now, Potbellies, Grubhub, Viewpoints, Peapod, Orbitz, and likely the award winners tonight. As you can see, we Chicagoans have a deep-rooted history of innovation and entrepreneurship. But why is that? Why Chicago? Well, right here in Chicago, as you all know, we have 4 world-renowned universities, just steps away from our front doors. Northwestern University, University of Chicago, the University of Illinois at Chicago, and IIT, the Illinois Institute of Technology, are all leading the nation and the world in research. At $2.5 billion, the powerhouse universities of the Midwest receive more federal funding than any other region in the country. So what does that buy us? It buys us the best, the state-of-the-art facilities and well-funded research programs that attract the best professors and the best researchers. The best professors and researchers build the best academic programs, which attract the best students. The University of Illinois has some of the nation's top computer science and engineering programs. Northwestern University and the University of Chicago Business Schools rank in the top 10 in the nation. Illinois Institute of Technology has churned out outstanding alumni such as Ed Kaplan, the co-founder of Zebra Technologies, the advanced retail technology provider, and Mark Hanna, one of the founders of Silicon Graphics, which created special effects for movies such as Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, as well as that piece of fiction that you saw on the screen tonight of Dan Miller flying through the air. Excellence breeds excellence, and every year these students graduate and enter the workforce. They have created one of the best resources for economic growth, a creative, innovative, smart, driven workforce that is leading our nation and the world in everything from interactive marketing and internet-enabled business to clean energy technology and medical research. We ought to be proud. Creativity and innovation thrive in all sectors of Chicago, from the top chefs and groundbreaking performing arts to creative advertising and marketing executives and financial traders and investors. Chicagoans push the boundaries and create, innovate, and change the communities we live in. Even in tough times, we find innovative new ways to build and rebuild our city. And the Fortune 500 companies around the country have taken notice. 141 of the 500 Fortune 500 companies are located right here in the Midwest. They include, of course, Abbott, Baxter, CDW, Northern Trust. Those are just a few of the companies that make our economic base diverse and provide entrepreneurs and innovators like you with the consumers for your products and ideas. So as you can see, and as I've said, Chicago has historically been the home of inventors, innovators, and entrepreneurs who succeeded. The time for the next generation of entrepreneurs to step up is right now. But in order to be successful and cultivate economic growth, entrepreneurs and innovators must have access to knowledge of how to proceed and how to take inventions and concepts to market. And equally important, startup businesses need access to capital. Until recently, Chicago had a fragmented startup community, various networks that are somewhat self-contained and not interconnected. In Silicon Valley, the resources needed to implement a new idea or business are available practically everywhere you turn. Here, we need to be thoughtful about how we weave together our mosaic so we can leap ahead of the rest of the country. That's our challenge. In Silicon Valley, you can sit in a Starbucks and next thing you know, you're swapping ideas with other entrepreneurs, with angel investors, with venture capitalists, about where to find the support you need for a great idea and turning it into a successful company. Here, we need to pool our networks and create a shared vision that will help our community thrive. In my 15 years of funding successful startups in Chicago, and a few failures, and around the country, I've never witnessed a better time for entrepreneurship in Chicago, truly. The Illinois Innovation Accelerator, Accelerate Labs, Sandbox Industries Incubator, Wildcat Angels, Hyde Park Angels are all actively seeking Chicago area companies to fund. That really wasn't here before. Matt Moog created a social network, builtinchicago.org, which is geared toward bringing together the local entrepreneurial and technology communities to create and promote innovation. In a few short weeks since it was launched, it has gathered nearly 1,000 members. Technori, I just got an email today, maybe some of you did too, a website celebrating Chicago's entrepreneurs launched just today. The fabric of Chicago's entrepreneurial community is weaving itself together. The Chicagoland Entrepreneurial Center has become a central address, providing entrepreneurs from startup retailers to startup telecommunications businesses with the tools that they need to build sustainable businesses, mentors, business plan assistance, and access to customers and to capital sources. The Illinois Technology Association, I saw Fred Hoke here, is working to grow the technology industry by fostering an atmosphere of collaboration that will allow individual tech companies to thrive. We really must promote and celebrate innovation and entrepreneurship that will create new companies, new industries, and new jobs to propel Chicago's economy well into the 21st century. We must make sure that we take this message to the next mayor of Chicago, that we move forward even more quickly to make Chicago the hub of innovation and entrepreneurship, certainly for the Midwest, if not the entire country. Economic growth does not happen in silos. It creates a ripple effect, ever changing those around us. Your innovations, ideas, and drive to succeed will propel Chicago into its next generation of successful commercial enterprise. Chicago is a city of heart, of pride, of spirit, of vision and triumph. And I'm excited to see what's next for Chicago and our community of entrepreneurs and innovators. And I call upon all of you to participate in celebrating the innovation of Chicago as we do here tonight, but do it every single day. Go out and be ambassadors on behalf of this city and its innovators. Together, we can make a great city, a great innovative city, and the larger region bigger and better than ever. Thank you very much, and congratulations to tonight's winners.